All right, so if you take a look on Canvas, I've kind of given you a review of the steps of the Lewis structure, this time adding in all the kind of exceptions, formal charge, and all the other stuff that we've learned. So the first step is to always count your valence electrons. Should be able to know how to do that. Remember, negative charges, you add an electron. Positive charges, you lose an electron. So something like a 2 minus, that'd be plus 2 electrons. The second step is to draw your skeletal structure correctly. Remember, hydrogen is always terminal, so it's always at the end. In general, the less electronegative atom goes in the center. And then keep an eye out for OH. It's a common motif that you'll see throughout chemistry. And then remember, try not to do any weird triangle, square things either. Keep things pretty simple for the most part. After you draw the correct skeletal structure, you want to add your bonds, one bond to everything, and then give atoms octets, starting with the more electronegative thing. After that, you want to move your electron pairs to fill out any octets. Remember, period 2 cannot have more than an octet, so carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine cannot have more than 8 valence electrons. Remember, hydrogen only wants 2. Beryllium only wants 2 bonds or 4 valence electrons. Boron and aluminum want 6 valence electrons or 3 bonds. And then anything period 3 and below can break the octet rule. How do you know if you should break the octet rule? Well, you should do it when you can to minimize formal charge. So remember, formal charge is the amount of valence electrons on the atom by itself minus the number of bonds minus electrons in lone pairs. Remember, the lowest formal charge is best, right? So on the left, or in this one right here, we have kind of sulfuric acid, and you can see on the left, we have a bunch of formal charges. On the right, we don't. Sulfur broke the octet rule. That's fine because it can. If you do need a negative charge, give it to the most electronegative atom, and a positive charge, give it to the least electronegative atom if possible. And then the final thing you should do is check your Lewis structures for resonance structures. So there's the one for carbonate, and then you should be able to figure out what the bond order is as well. So I think if you just follow these kinds of steps and just do some practice, overall it should be pretty simple, and you should be able to predict the Lewis structure for almost any molecule out there. And then you have a clue about the bonding in almost any molecule out there. Remember, you're made out of molecules. So this kind of knowledge that you have is it's pretty cool to think that you can figure out all this stuff out with just some few simple rules.